living in this society, one of the first and oldest manuscripts that people like to reference when they're trying to make a point is the book that they call the Bible. So today, I'm going to utilize a certain scripture in the Bible to explain and break down one of the major requirements of a man and how he should structure himself. In the Bible, we are told that the Creator made man in his image, that he formed man from dirt, and then he blew his spirit into man, making him a living thing. So this tells us something about a man. First, and this scripture is not just talking about the male, it's talking about mankind as a whole, but for this conversation, I'm just going to talk about the male. So this scripture tells us something about a man. First, it tells us that man is a two-way being. Man is twofold, he's dual. That's where the word individual comes from. The word individual actually is two words. It's indivisible and duality. The word indivisible means cannot be divided, and duality means two. So the duality in man is both that he's earth, because it says the Creator made man's body from the earth, from the clay, from the dirt, and he's spirit. Or let's just say it in a more simple way, he's the mind of God, because it's that mind, that breath of God that blew into man and made man a living thing. So man's essence is God and man's physical manifestation is earth. So man is a twofold thing. So when we understand that and we understand that basic reality, it tells us something about a man. Let me say this before I continue. Whenever you read scriptures, Quran, Bible, the teachings of Confucius, I don't care what it is, whenever you read these, ask yourself, why am I reading this book? Why am I reading these tales? Are you reading these tales to find out what some cat did 2,000 years ago? To sit back and wax poetic or fantasize or ride the nuts of some cats 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago? Or are you reading these scriptures to find the tools and the formula for organizing your own life right now today? Now, the latter should be the answer. It should be the answer of an intelligent man, an intelligent person. So let me get back to the point. When we understand it from that perspective or from that point of view, we understand that when we look in the scripture, we're looking for formula. We're looking for concepts and ideas that we can use to organize our own life. So man has a twofold being. He's both a physical thing and a spiritual thing. He's both mental and he's both earthly. He's both of these things. And this is not to say either one is bad or good. I'm not dealing with that hocus pocus religious stuff. I'm only dealing with the organization of man himself. So first, man must create himself. He must come into being. And he must be able to recognize his being on his physical level and his being on his mental level. To bring this to earth or bring this back down to earth for us, this means the man must create and organize his physical world. Whether that physical world deals with organizing his family, his work structure, his home, his finances, and he must organize his spiritual world, dealing with the organization of his inner peace, his mentality, his education, the things that he understands, the knowledge, the wisdom that he will gain throughout life that will help him navigate his physical world. Those are the things that will make him a living being. Then the next thing that happened, it says that the Creator gave man a job. The job that the Creator gave man was to name all, to have dominion over the earth and to name all the creatures on the planet. Now you got to think deep and ask yourself, what does that mean? Was man's job just to walk around and place names on things? Why do we name things what we name them? See, in order to name something, you must first understand the characteristics of that thing. Once you can identify the characteristics, then you put the proper name or the proper label that identify the characteristics of that thing. If you see a cat and name it a car, you have misnamed it because you don't understand the characteristics of a car. You have misunderstood what a car was and you placed the wrong name on the wrong entity. This is not how you name things. You name things by identifying the characteristics. So in reality, what the Creator did was tell man that his job was to do the science on everything in creation. It means to do the science and break down and understand the nature and the characteristics. And then when you go deeper than that, you understand what that really means. Once you can do the science on something, once you can break down the characteristics of a thing, then you know how to maneuver around it or manipulate it. A perfect example. Once you understand plants and how seeds work, you don't have to sit around and wait for a plant to grow in a particular place, you can extract the seeds from a plant and actually create your own garden. Once you understand the whole concepts of wood and structures, you don't have to find a cave or some kind of fallen tree to live under. You can build a house. By understanding the nature of things, you are able to respond to the nature. If you have a rat infestation, you don't try to kill the rats in your house by putting out fly paper, because you understand the nature of a rat. And that's what the whole naming things was about. It was about Adam, or man, raising his intellectual abilities to comprehend the world around him. And that's what man must be able to do. Now, and then next leads us to one of the most important decisions that a man will ever make in his life while he's building his world and structuring his power base. It ain't the type of car that you drive. It's not ready you were decide to wear Gucci or Louis Vuitton. It's none of that. It's none of those things. It could be how you decide to make your money, but the most important thing that you will ever choose is the woman that you allow into your world. That woman is an extraordinarily important political move. Now, when we look back in scripture, because we're basing what I'm talking about on scripture, when we look back in the scripture, we look at how woman came into man's life. First, man was doing his duty, and then he recognized that he had no mate comparable to him. So then what happened? Man was then put to sleep, and a rib was taken from man, and the woman was formed, and his rib was formed into the woman. And then the woman was said to be his helpmate. Now, in that story, we're told something about relationships. We're taught something. First, what happens, or what I see in this, is that in order for man to have a woman, he must first recognize his need for her. See, man in this story recognized his need for her. Then he was put to sleep, and he had to sacrifice a part of himself in order to have her. So that tells you something else that has to take place in a proper give and take relationship. In order to have something new into your life, you must be willing to sacrifice something old. If you put a new woman in your life, or if you decide to be in a serious relationship with a woman, you might not be able to club like you used to. You might not be able to go to the strip club or hang with the homeboys like you used to. And you must be willing to make these sacrifices in order for that sacrifice. in order for that new quote unquote so-called benefit that should be coming into your life. The next thing that we understand is that what part of man was taken away. Now let's be real. Who y'all telling me that this all-powerful, all-knowing, all-wise God first didn't know that man was gonna need a woman, so he had to come up with it later? Then you telling me he couldn't just make woman from thought? He had to come to take a piece out of man to make woman. No, that's not what's going on in this story. This story is telling us something about how relationships are constructed. Because this all-wise, all-knowing, all-powerful creator that y'all tell me about would have been able to just blink and a woman would have came into being. So this is something about man recognizing his need for her and what role she is supposed to play. So she is taken from his rib. Think about what the rib does. The ribs protect your vital parts, your vital organs. They operate as a protection, a shell against me. Without ribs, I would be able to punch you and kill you, because I'd be able to stop your heart with one punch. So the woman operates as a rib to give man a protection of his most vital and most sensitive areas in his life. Also, what we are told about and what we understand about the rib, if man did not have a rib, his body would just fold over. So she's supposed to play a part in helping a man stay strong and stand upright. I see this perfectly. And there's a movie called, I forget the name of the movie, but if you remember the old movie, The Best Man, and then there's a sequel to that movie. I think it's Best Man Christmas, I believe. But in The Best Man Christmas, the role that Monica Calhoun plays for the role of Morris Chestnut, you see the strength that she embodies in her calm state of peace by giving him that strength and that patience that she is able to give him. Also in this story, we're taught this. We learn this. She is a helpmate. Now, what is that? That means that she is a mate to help a man in his work. So if a man doesn't have a job, if he isn't doing something, he don't need a woman. Because what would he be needing help for to do nothing? If you're doing nothing, what do you need help doing nothing for? You got that down packed. And we're not just talking about a job going to clock in and make binders, or going to clock in to toss trash. We're not talking about that. When we're talking about your work, it's your life mission. your purpose, your reason for being. So what is it that you are fanatical about? What is it that you love? What is it that you believe that you was brought to the earth to bring for? The reason you came into being for? What is that? And that woman supposed to be able to assist you in that, and you supposed to be able to teach. If you don't have the skills already, you supposed to be able to teach her the things that you need in order to, if you're a writer, and if she can do nothing else, maybe she can make copies of your manuscripts. But that woman is supposed to be able to help you in bringing about your purpose. And this is how you know what your purpose is. Whatever it is that you are able to do, that's enjoyable for you to do, that brings value to other people's life. That's when you find your purpose. So these are what we're supposed to learn in this creation of man story. And this is the science of manhood. Peace. I hope y'all got something. If you did, share the information. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell icon so you can be notified. Stay with us. I always build with us on the channel. Look at some of the old videos. I'm always building on not only human development in general, but manhood development in specific. Peace.